Hey, hey, hey. How y'all doing today? It's that time, y'all. You know what time it is. Yeah. It's story time. Let's get ready, let's get ready, let's get ready.
Hot, tangy, get you a chip that can do both. Doritos Flamin' Hot Limon.
All right, y'all.
1, 2, 1, 2.
The internet's gonna be competitive tonight.
Here we go.
Ow!
It's my time to
Yeah.
shine. It's my time to live. It's my time to fly. It's my time. It's my time.
Story time. Oh, yeah.
I can see it. I can feel it. Time has come now to reveal it. I've been
Hey,
waiting
Liz.
for
How you
a
doing,
long time.
girl?
Gotta do it.
Oh, wow. Good to see you there, young lady.
Gotta do it.
Hey, Tiggs. How you doing? I'm glad. Thank you for joining, man. I know it's a lot going on out here on the internet. I'm waiting for my guests to come in the room. Waiting for my guests to come in the room. We got an interesting topic tonight, ladies. Ladies, we got an interesting topic tonight. Tonight. I'm trying to see if she's in the room yet. Not yet. Lee, I'm so glad to have you here tonight. Woo! Yes, yes. I'm cut the music off for a minute. I'm so glad to see you here tonight too. You know, tonight we're having an interesting topic. I have a young lady that's coming on, and we're talking to the ladies. We're talking to the ladies tonight to talk about how they feel as they age. You know, that we want to get into that conversation tonight. And I was looking for my reading glasses tonight because I don't like these glasses. I'm gonna have to get rid of these. This is gonna be something. So I want to thank you guys for coming in tonight, because tonight, lady, this is for us. This is for us, all right? And so as she gets ready to come in the room, I'm going to say, I see her. So I did invite you, but I don't see no request. But I did invite you to come on in, Parish. There she goes. Oh, wow. We both got on red. Oh, my God. Look at that.
I got the message.
Wow. That wasn't even planned. It's your time to shine. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you so much. We're going to get straight into it, because I know tonight the internet is kind of hot, y'all. Tonight the internet is hot because, you know, when things happen out on the universe and things happen out there, then everybody comes out and they want to talk about it. So tonight there's a hot topic out there, but we got a hot one for you too. We want to talk to the ladies. I want to welcome Miss Parish here. She's going to help us with this conversation tonight. And ladies, we're going to come because we want to help ignite some things in our relationships and in our lives, you know, because sometimes people be trying to make the ladies feel like they are less valuable when they age. So we're going to dive into that, and we're going to talk about it. But first, I want to ask this young lady that you see in this red to introduce herself. I know her as Parish. We've seen her on the internet, and she has some expertise in this area, and she's been in many places on different platforms. She's been on magazines, and she's been various places sharing and helping individuals. So I want to welcome you and thank you so much for coming. And I would love for you to just tell those who've never met you what your name is and what you specialize in and what your background is.
Thank you, Crystal, for inviting me onto your platform and allowing me to communicate with your audience. My name is Parish Michelle Blair. I am a sex goddess, and I'm a master manifester. I'll explain more about what that means. You're watching me right now from a page that I created to support what happens behind the scenes of what I do professionally. And this page is called Good Sex, Selfies, and Success. My main page, where I connected with Crystal from, I would love it if you would support me there also, is Sexy Spirit TV. And I basically create content that's inspired by how I live my life. When I say I'm a sex goddess, I use my orgasmic energy to manifest things. And as a master manifester, I've mastered the lifestyle of watching my words. So in my opinion, there is no one out there that's making me feel like an old lady that's not sexy. I already feel that way, so I keep manifesting things that look like that to me. So what I need most, if I start seeing things that I don't like, is to change my focus. So that's how I've mastered my lifestyle, and that's how I make my money. I travel the world. I take care of my family and the people I love with my positive feminine energy and my sexual work that I do with my own body. So that alone,
Wow.
what age I am, I'm always going to be sexy because I know the power of my sex.
Yeah. And you know what? Society makes women feel like they lose their value at their age. Like when they start to become a mother, a grandmother, and they get up in age, a lot of times you hear older gentlemen say they want a younger woman. They make the older women feel less than a woman, less valuable. You speak to a lot of gentlemen. So do you hear that often when you talk to these gentlemen out there, Paris?
Well, first of all, respectfully, Crystal, and compassion, I'm saying this. I will answer your questions, but I am a 51-year-old woman, and I am surrounded by men that are 10 to 15 years older than I am and 10 to 15 years younger than I am. No matter what those men say, they're not making me feel that way. I
That's
already
right.
feel that way if I feel that way. So if somebody told me that I wasn't successful and I wasn't a good mom, I know I'm a good mom. I know I measure my own success. So I don't care what anybody says. If there are women in the audience that still feel like you care about the men that don't want you, that's probably something that we have to work on individually, because the people that don't want me did me a favor by letting me know, okay, you
That's
don't
right.
like women your age. I'm not going to get angry with you because I don't want somebody that doesn't want me. Let me put my energy into manifesting the energy that likes me. That's what I like to talk about, because we could spend hours and hours talking about why do men feel that way about women, but all it does is keep making women feel more and more like men don't like me because of my age, and then they leave feeling a little bit better because they learned a nice makeup tip, when really they got to get rid of that stink. That's not true.
Now there's somebody that's asking to come in. Do you know Andrew Bernard, 145?
If I do, and I know you, please forgive me, but I'm not good with profile names. So it's your show. You cam up who you feel guided to.
Let me see if I know who that is, because I can cam them down real quick and see if somebody that felt like they want to add something to it. So Mr. Andrew, we'll get to you and see what you have to say. There is a question box on the bottom. So the question box on the bottom, you can definitely put a question down there. I know that I have Miss Giz in the audience, and I know that she'll participate. I know a few people who will. But let me say this,
But
ladies.
about the men that I see, and contrary to what a lot of you ladies think here, you're absolutely wrong. Men love seasoned women. They love mature women. The men that you're attracting don't. But I have a pool of them that do, younger and older, that appreciate. They're not looking at your skin doesn't look like it did when it was 30 or 25. They got sense. They know their skin doesn't look like that. In fact, they like women at all stages. They like skins of all texture. They just love women. And a seasoned woman, they bypass all the insecurities, all the mistakes, all the I don't know what I want, to let me spend quality time with a man. Those men love that kind of woman.
So do you feel as though the women need to do some self-discovery?
Absolutely.
Okay. And sometimes we get bogged down with life as a mom, as a grandmother, and we forget who we are, and we get uptight about things. And when we get uptight, then we lose our sensuality and our sexuality, and we let things get in the way of that because it's too much going on in our head, and we overthink everything, and then it fails. The relationship fails as a result of that. So let's talk about that, ladies. I think that sometimes as we get older and we get to the grandmother stage, we get the feeling a little less sexy. Some women get the feeling that way. They get the gray hair, they put on some pounds, they get a little depressed. So I want to ask you, Paris, what do you think is the first way to get them to have a confidence booster if they do begin to feel that way?
I think the first step is like what you mentioned, get into yourself. Because if you make it where, okay, let me put on a good dress, let me start going out and meeting new people. Then if you don't meet new people, you're going to still think it's because of what what you've been worried about, your age or your weight. So I say get in habits that you can do personally at home. Working out, I think, is really good. I'm not a workout person. I won't go to the gym, but my workouts, I like to walk. I like to swim. I'll jump rope. I'm learning how to belly dance. Just moving your body. Sometimes when the only time you get in touch with your body is when it hurts or when you're being sexual, you're completely neglecting it the entire time. You could be appreciating it and exploring it. And I don't really mean sexually. You have this beautiful organ that's called your skin. It's the largest organ on your body, and it's so much more valuable than just how it looks. And if people think it's pretty with makeup on, we normally notice things about our body when they're in pain, but we don't celebrate it when it's alive. And whether or not a man is there to share that with you, don't neglect your pleasure and appreciating who you are as a feminine being just because you're with you. That's not a waste of time. That's not loneliness. That's a blessing.
All right. Now, Miss Pat, I definitely know that Miss Pat told me she was coming tonight, and I want you to introduce yourself. Introduce yourself. Tell us how old you are, and tell us, Miss Pat, how are you? Where do you fall in this category which we're talking about today?
Well, my name is Patricia, and I'm 60 plus. And I guess I fall into this pattern as a result of just getting to know me recently, because I've separated in 2019, and I was divorced, got my final divorce last year in 2021. And during that time, I was focused more on family and doing everything for everyone else, that I didn't really look at how I feel about me, other than I was just here to help everyone along in their life. But once I separated and I lost weight, I lost over 20 pounds. I started buying new clothes. I started, I haven't been going out a lot because of the pandemic, but I've got a new appreciation about myself now. I put more focus on how I feel when I get dressed rather than how someone else may look at me. So I'm getting there. I still have a hard time accepting compliments. If someone said, well, you look good, and I'm like, oh, this old thing, so I'm trying to work on that. But I think this is an interesting subject. And basically, I'm on that road to fully appreciating my value and my sensuality. And I do things sometimes just to make me feel good. I'm getting to that point. I don't necessarily need a person around for me to put on something, like a sexy little pajamas, boxers, and, put makeup on, which I don't have on today. But basically, that's where I stand.
So let me ask you.
And I'm just here to see if I can learn some more from you, some more tips on how I can continue on this road.
So let me ask you something, and thank you so much for joining us, young lady. I'm going to acknowledge you in 1 second. Patricia, do you feel sexy? Do you feel that you're sexy?
Now I do, at times. There are times when I don't, there are times when I do. Because sometimes I do. If I have on my T-shirts and I put on, depends on what I have on, and I'll walk past the mirror, and I was take a stop and like, hey, they look pretty good. You can go out in that. But then there are times when I don't. But I've been there.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Young lady, how you doing? Thank you so much for joining us. I know you said you would join us tonight. I appreciate it because I know it's a lot of people live tonight. Please introduce yourself. And I'm asking the ladies what their thoughts are with women being told that they lose their value and their sexiness as they age. I would love to hear your take on that.
I need my lipstick.
I don't feel sexy all the time, but for the most part, I do. There are times when I don't. And it usually has nothing to do with, my outward appearance. It's usually something that's going on in the inside that just to make me feel sexy.
Now that's it right there. You said it. You hit on it. So you have to have that. It's a confidence thing. It sounds like you're confident. Would you say that's correct?
Yeah. And then, because I'm younger, people or in slim, people think I'm always feeling sexy and young, single, and free, and I don't always feel that way. Some days it's just I don't feel pretty. This little tooth it feel like I'm the ugliest thing in the world. But I do things to make me feel sexy. I'm a mind fucking kind of person, so I'm in the mind. So it's really not the aesthetics that makes me feel sexy. It's the way I think and mind stimulation. So
wow. So
that's what gets me.
I love it. What do you say about that, Parish? About
I had a question for sister. Can you tell me your name? The sister that's newly separated and divorced.
Oh, Pat.
Pat. I'm sorry, Pat. I forgot your name.
Pat. Yes.
Pat, I'm curious. How did you get through? You were separated, then divorced during the pandemic when you can't have that interaction and everything. How did you manage? How are you on the other side of the same water?
You're kind of breaking up. You asked me how did I manage to get through that?
During the pandemic, being divorced and then also newly divorced, how did you get through that year?
Well, it wasn't easy. Fortunately, when I moved back to my condo, I moved back where my family is. So I had that family support. My sister is about 10 minutes away. My 30-year-old friend is close by. I have cousins around. So I had the family support who would call and check in, even though I wasn't seeing a lot of people. But then I started just focusing on myself. I went on and ordered one of those maxi climber machines. I went on and set up a little gym in my den. I found my grandkids Wii Fit and Wii Sports games. So I set those up and just started entertaining myself.
Did you masturbate a lot?
No, I did not. I have to be honest about that because I was married for 15 years and it was during a Zoom meeting with two of my married friends, my girlfriends. We decided to have a Zoom happy hour. So we got our little drinks and hors d'oeuvres and we were sitting and talking. And that subject came up and I said, well, I've never done that before. I've never done it before. And then even both of them are married and one travels all the time. She said, yeah, I take mine with me in my travel case. And, sometimes you just need this or whatever. And I'm like, well, where do you get them? So they convinced me to purchase one. And how many people on this live?
It's only family. You're fine.
No judgment.
But I attempted it, and I was like, this is. I need the real thing. So I didn't get the enjoyment out of it. I don't know if I picked the wrong one. It was too big. It didn't do right. But
the toy is just it's just a tool. You can experience yourself with your own fingers. And I just learned how to masturbate when I was 35 because of being traumatized by my mother catching me, judging me when I was a little girl. And then I that even if you were married, my religion did that. So I didn't learn until I was 35 years old. And it just opened up a door for me to connect with me, not about, let me see if I can have sex like I do with a man. At first I was
right.
Okay, that's the way I release myself, when I haven't had enough sex or I can't get the sex. But then, I found my balance. Then it was times where I just needed to connect with myself, times when I needed to
right.
Times. So I wouldn't give up when I got.
Well, I think with me, it was more of that just being, I like to cuddle and I like to be held, I get satisfaction from that. And when I first moved, there was a young guy, approached me and he befriended me. We became friends and I reminded him I'm still married and nothing's going to happen. And he offered to give me massages, which he did. And so, through that, I think I got you know, some of the satisfaction that I needed, which was the companionship, just being caressed, just having someone there. You know, I didn't necessarily find that little object that appealing to me because it wasn't something I was
But
used to. I'm used to having.
you handle your woman. You know your body. This is your journey, and it's just beginning. This is a new door. So where you were in COVID, you're not going to be the same at the end of this year. Where you are at the end of this year, you're not going to be 3 years from now. So just knowing you have permission, just as you're,
Mhm.
it's always there for you for your own pleasure.
Okay, and you're cutting off a bit. I
Yeah,
don't know
you're
what's.
cutting up a little bit, Parish. You might want to move to a different location, but hopefully it'll get better. But let me ask you this. Many people, I think they have these problems because of what reasons? Women go through these insecurities, and sometimes they don't feel good about themselves. And if they can't feel good about themselves and open up to themselves, do you think, Parish, that prevents them from opening up to others? Those who are reluctant to find themselves, their own self-discovery, they have a hard time getting intimate with other people as well. Do you agree?
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and what do you say to that? Is it? Tell me your name again. Is it Natasha? Is Natasha?
Yeah, Natasha. Mm-hmm.
Natasha, what is your take on that? Do you feel as though individuals who are open-minded enough to have self-discovery are a little bit more successful in getting intimate with partners?
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree because I like to find things out about myself, like what makes me tick, like what gets me aroused. And I'm more of like conversation is like an aphrodisiac for me. People who don't
Mm-hmm. That's
understand that thinks I'm a weirdo, but people who understand it is like, you got it. And it could be something little that'll get me aroused. Something like a toothpick in his mouth. And I'm just like, in heaven. It's the small things. And because I know my body and I'm okay with me and all of the things that somebody else may seem like is a little off, I'm comfortable with me. And a lot of people are not comfortable with themselves. So when it comes to sex, it's like taboo. They're afraid for people to know what they like or what they're willing to do. And that's one of the most freeing things you could do is understand your body. Because the body is amazing. You'll be surprised what it can do without even being touched.
You are.
So that's one of the things that gets me, because I don't masturbate. I don't have to. Because my body does things where I don't have to masturbate. Like I don't have any toys. I don't do any of that. And because I'm so free that way, when I'm talking to someone else or a partner, a lot of times they're reluctant to relinquish that part of themselves. And it does affect other areas of your life. Once you delve a little deeper into it, you'll see how restricted you are, not only in sex, but in other areas of your life or intimacy.
Or just being sensual? But now let me hear that, and I'm sure
Mm-hmm.
Paris has a question on that. So you said you do all this by just thinking. Is that what I heard?
It's not so much thinking. It's like meditation, but sensuality. It's a level of comfort. Anxiety is a lot of things that go into that. So it's not like I'm just thinking, let me, ejaculate. No, it's just, it's quite a bit that goes into. I could look at, my partner, whatever you want to call him, and he'll just be cooking and I'm just having a whole moment and he has no clue as to what's going on. But it's just something about body movement and when people are in their element. You ever watch somebody in their craft and how confident they are and excited, and you can't really touch it, but you can feel it. And it's the same thing when it comes to that.
Wow. What you have to say about that, Paris?
I can definitely relate. I know as a sapiosexual, if you cannot stimulate my mind, my body is not going to be. And there's no judgment for people that aren't aroused by one night stands, but that could never work for me. Even if I didn't have an aversion to strange people, it would be, or strange sexuality, it would be just, it wouldn't work because my mind has to be stimulated. And to like the sister is saying, it's not just the sexuality, there has to be the sensual part of it. There's something engaged in my mind and my body before the person is even suggested or I suggested sex. So as you said, sister, I'm never disappointed because I have my own personal sexual experiences throughout the day. Sometimes just kindness does it for me. It just depends. I've got to confess this to you. I gave my word to you, and I also gave my word to the Moist movement on Auntie Gina's page. She had a travel, I guess, a conflict we were supposed to do early in the morning. She's starting now. I just need to go and introduce. I'm trying to go back and forth so I don't disappoint either one. So if you don't mind, I'll be back if you allow me to come back.
Okay.
But I'm there to support that. She just started, and I'll be right back.
Okay, not a problem.
Thank
So B-Hop, no problem. B-Hop, I got a question for you. How you doing? Introduce yourself to the people. You're a man, and we have women here, and there are some women who, when they get to a certain age, men have this thing about saying they want a younger woman, and they feel like women lose their value as they get older, and they're not as sexually attractive. We're not just talking about making babies and producing, but somehow they don't look that way. And some people do appreciate older women, but a lot don't. Can you speak to that after you introduce yourself?
What type of introduction you want me to add?
Just your name and where you're from.
Well, I'm B-Hop. I'm from Philadelphia, PA.
All right.
What's up, Nat?
Hey, what's going on?
Listen, the thing is this. We can never put aside preferences. We can never put aside somebody's physical attractive aspects. What we can do is we can honor and understand it and not get hung up on it. Because there's a lot of women that don't like light-skinned guys. So I'm not going to walk around because I'm a light-skinned guy and feel like I'm inferior to being sexually attractive to somebody because of my light skin. It's just a matter of their preference. Throughout my life, I've been told, oh, you're a nice guy, you got a nice heart, but I can't mess with you because you're light-skinned. Well, a lot of that was based on the stigma of them thinking that I was stuck up because I was light-skinned, or that I didn't have very much to offer, or I was a pushover and I wouldn't protect them, or I wouldn't have the ability to protect them like another either more brown-skinned person. It's just a lot of people walk around with superficiality, and that is what drives a lot of the inconsistencies that we see. Yes, when you get older, yes, you become less attractive to the masses. But how many people do you really want to be attractive to? Because if we're looking at a nucleus of people, we're looking at it from a standpoint that I don't need 1,000. All I need is one quality. If I can get one with quality, then guess what? I've overcome the odds. I've been single a long time. And the one thing in my singleness is I've mastered the art of being single without being lonely. But the one thing is that you have lonely moments. It doesn't mean that you're on a lonely kick. It doesn't mean that your life is relegated to a lonely ideology or a lonely subscription. I have lonely moments because I'm human. If I'm not feeling well, it's always nice to have somebody that can get up and cook you oodles and noodles or some type of soup and bring it to you. But if you got to get up in your sickness and provide for yourself, that's the pros and the cons. But when a woman gets older, society has already stigmatized her that she had a biological clock that was ticking.
Yes.
Fair.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Fair to a gender because it brings undue pressure for you to perform when you don't need to.
Right.
You don't need to be anything other than who you are.
That's right.
But the problem is that society, if you subscribe to what society is going to place on your shoulders, then you're always going to have the weight of the world on your shoulders.
Yep. It's gonna make you feel like you have to be in competition with, the younger generation. In all actuality, you don't. Because you have something that they don't have.
That's right.
And that's grace.
And a lot of older women, a lot of have the power of intellect, and they understand the true aspects of love because when you've raised your children and you've gotten on the other side of what that unconditional love is, a lot of young women won't understand that until they get in your position. But
Well,
they have all the entertainment value,
right.
but they haven't reached the substance yet.
You know, it's funny you said that. You know, I want to ask you this as a man. When you see a woman, a lot of women think that when they get older, they get the love handles and they want to, you know, like you said, Natasha, they want to get smaller. They want to get competitive. Like, okay, I'm on my weight journey right now, but I'm doing it for me. Like, I'm not trying to become a size because somebody says I need to be a certain size. I'm doing it because I have grandchildren. I want to be able to run around and run with them and do some things. I'm in competition with myself. But there's some women who don't like their love handles, and you know, they're always trying to hide them. They buy clothes bigger because they're ashamed of their shape. You know, as a man, what would you say to the ladies who might be out here if they have an inferior complex or they have low self-esteem about how they look? What would you say to them as a man so that they can learn to appreciate who they are and understand they're unique and wonderfully made regardless of their size?
Don't have unrealistic expectations. But stop competing against a Coke bottle. A Coke bottle will outlast you. That is not what you were meant to be. That is what society uses as a tool to disenfranchise you from understanding your true femininity. Because all of marketing has to do with a woman in a Coke bottle shape. Every time society wants to sell something, they have a woman put on the front cover.
That's right.
Anytime they want to reinforce something, they put a woman's sexuality, or they put the value, or they put a picture that represents a womb or a vagina or some other intimate part of a woman, a breast. The thing of it is this: you can only be but who you are. You can't compete with all of these things that are fabricated and made up. What I would tell women is this: your confidence is going to resonate faster than your roles.
Yeah, but I like your answer, Beha, but I don't really think that's a question for me to answer, because the best person to ask that question to is somebody who either identifies has that same issue or someone who's gotten on the other side of it.
Right.
Because then we're looking for men to answer a question we need to be able to answer ourselves. Who cares what they think?
That's the truth. You said,
like,
yes, I agree.
Who really cares what he will? If he's attracted to women who have roles, then that's what he'll attract. He's not going to tell you, listen, you need to get rid of them roles. Somebody who you don't need to be with will tell you that. Thank God we got Beehive. But if you ask a man, then you'll become someone that he wants, not who you are. So the appropriate person to ask is somebody who, listen, we got roles. What are we going to do? I'm keeping mine. Oh, I'm keeping mine too. You know,
I love it.
Whatever you choose to do.
Yes.
Well, think about
it. So we have to be careful who we communicate with, because sometimes we communicate looking for the right answer, knowing that it's wrong, but we'll conform to that because it's the easier, softer way. And I'll have better opportunities when it comes, because I have small breasts. It is what it is. It is never going to happen. I'm 39. They're not going to get any bigger. So I have to attract someone who's okay with small breasts, not someone who's going to say, listen, you probably should get a boob job. Well, how about you do something to just make them get a little bigger? If that's what you want, go get it, because I can't be that. That's not who I am. I want big breasts only on Saturdays, because then any other day I have to carry them around, and I don't want. I'm 121 pounds. What the hell do I need with big breasts? But it's all an illusion, because I'm telling you, for about 4 days, I was on social media, just no reading, no nothing, no outward stimulation, and it had me thinking that, I'm about to be extinct. Like slim, dark-skinned women with small, we don't exist anymore. And then I had to rethink, like, well, what are you trying to prove? Like, what are you looking for? And I really was just looking for a forehead kiss. It wasn't really about the outside. I just wanted to be hugged.
Wow.
It had nothing to do with the aesthetics. And then I wound up getting it, so I'm happy again.
Wow.
And Crystal, the thing is this. I am one man out of millions. And the one thing is this. I have a more understanding approach to women's problems because I was raised with nothing but women. But you have a lot of cavemen out here. And those cavemen out here are not apt to really look at the abstract when it comes down to a woman's mindset or her thinking. A lot of these guys want what they want when they want, and they want it based on their individual man ideology. So from a female standpoint or any feminine ideology, they reject it because it's not built into their DNA, because I'm a caveman. Now, more Renaissance men are the ones that really look outside of the picture because they're more well-rounded. They're more well-read. They understand that the physical and the mental dynamic between male and female doesn't have to be so different, but we look at things from different lenses because that's the trajectory of our lives. So the thing is this. Men are visual creatures.
Yes. Yes.
For the most part, we're visual.
Yes.
But understand one thing about our adaptability. Once we get past the visual aspect of it, substance is what's going to keep you there.
Yes.
Because the visual is for entertainment purposes only.
Wow.
Substance is when we start to claim you. Substance is when we start to want to marry you. Substance is when we start to want to build with you. But other than that, you have to separate the understanding of what we're looking at and what we subscribe to. That's a different aspect in allowing a woman to understand the need or the want that we have. If I meet you and you're a size 2, and that's what I'm attracted to, over a 5 to 6 year period, if you become a size 10 or a size 12, I may not be as attracted to you anymore. I might love you, but I'm not sexually attracted to you anymore because my sexual attraction is based on a 2 standard.
Wow.
So the thing of it is, and a lot of women fight against that ideology. Oh, that's fucked up. You should love me just because. Whoa, pump your brakes, baby. You're going against biology. You're going against an understanding that this is more real than it is the figment in your head. Slow down.
Wow.
It doesn't mean that he doesn't love you. He might not be sexually attracted to you anymore, but that's a conversation that could be had if both of you look at life and say, what are we willing to work on together? If my woman is gaining weight, the aspect of it is, if I'm not a real in tune guy, I'm a bitch and complain before I motivate.
Right.
The key is motivation.
Yes. Now
I may be physically fit, but guess what? If my lady, based on her life standard or the aspects of getting things done every day, causes her to, gain some weight, well, if I love you, I'm not going to bitch and complain about you. I'm going to motivate you.
Right.
Come on, baby. Let's get this thing together. Let's do this thing. We're going to carve out time. We're going to do this because the love is what keeping us together.
Yep.
Not the physical attraction.
Right.
The physical attraction is just temporary things.
Yes, I understand. Now, Paris, I saw your hand go up. You want to say something and comment to what he just said?
No, not necessarily in commenting on what he just said, but what the sister that I said, I think in with, because if this is a conversation about us getting men to validate that, that's not going to still get to the core of why women feel that.
Right.
It's going to have them think, okay, that's the kind of man I need a man to think that way, but you're not ready for that kind of man to feel that way inside. So I think having, more conversations about how to get women to feel the way they want to feel instead of talking about how they don't like it and talking about the focusing.
And you know what? Natasha just said that. You're breaking up a little bit. I don't know if it's the area you're in, but Natasha just said that. She just said it's about it. We have to be willing to, again, discover who we are and know who we are and ask one another and support one another, offer suggestions on how we got through it, to one another as sisters. We have to find a way to open up and not down each other, but walk each other through that process. See if
And be honest about our own insecurities, because insecurities doesn't mean that you should have low self-esteem. It's just an insecurity. Something, and hopefully in speaking to someone else, it can change your perspective. So it's no longer an insecurity, because insecurities plague people from, being their actual true selves. And I've just embraced most of mine. So I really,
You know what's dynamic about this conversation? That you had a few other women on here, and then you had some women that were scared to talk about masturbation. You had some women scared to talk about different topics. That's because a lot of times in your femininity, you haven't gone over the laundry list of things that get you liberated. And that is a major issue when it comes down to it, because a lot of repressive aspects of things are because the unwillingness to really put it out there.
Yes.
Especially in relationships with another person.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's the person that you're with. Like, that's the person you do these things with, and do it not for, but with.
So let me ask you a question.
And it's important to have those conversations in the beginning.
It is.
And some men like anal, some women don't like anal.
Yeah.
Why get with someone and that turns them on? You think he's going to not get anal, or, because you're his wife? Those are conversations that you should have early on, without the fear of how somebody's going to look at you, because this is a lifelong process. So all the shyness, I can see not coming on here. Okay, I can understand that. But those conversations needs to be had, especially when it comes to oral sex. Some women, that's what I need in the morning. Some men, that's what I need in the morning. Some men don't do it. They don't like to do it. So those are parts of you that still need to be stimulated within your relationship. And when you don't get it, it's not fun.
Well, let me ask you this, Parish.
And it filters off into other areas.
Let me ask you this, Parish, because this is your area and this is something that you've studied. What is your take on what they're saying about this particular subject?
Well, I mean, the subject is still the same old thing that gets rehashed, which is the problem. The solutions are very powerful and a lot more enlightening, because they're simple things to do.
So what are some of the solutions? What are some of the solutions?
Are you able to hear me okay?
Yes. What are some of the solutions?
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit, though.
Okay. So can you hear me?
Yeah, we're gonna take up a GoFundMe to get you better internet.
But what's the solution? What's the solution that you are
suggesting? The number one solution is stop talking about what you don't want. For the women here, not for the men, but for the women here, your pussy hears every single thing you say. Every time you say negative things, every time you say there's no men, every time you say you're old and your pussy's getting tired, and it holds all those things that you say, and then it manifests the men that match what you say. So I don't usually have conversations about why women don't get the men they want, or why men don't like women, or why we can't have sex.
B-Hop, I'm gonna come back to you, B-Hop. I'll be back, okay? Yeah,
okay.
I need to get, yes, go ahead, Paris.
Yeah, I have conversations about what do women want. All the women have to do is start putting in the comments, what do you want? And I can tell you how you can get it, not how I make you get it, but how you can get it easily. Easy stuff. If it's you want more affection, you want more money, you want whatever it is, it's all within you. It's how you allow yourself to feel. And like you were saying, sister, how you can feel the nuances of a situation on a sensual level. Just a man putting his tooth, his pick, this spacious, what you're anticipating.
Mute yourself, young lady, 1 second. Mute yourself. Yeah, Gina. Okay, go ahead, Parish.
Yeah, I'm basically saying that the
Oops, sorry.
That's okay. Oh, okay. You moved to another location. No problem. No problem. Go ahead, Paris. I'm going to let you introduce yourself for 1 minute, Gina. Go ahead, Paris. But just mute yourself for a minute, Gina, please.
Okay.
There's a button. You're going to see a microphone right next to the camera. Just hit that. That'll cut your sound off. Okay, there you go. I think.
Wait a
So,
minute.
so I was just basically saying the path to the pleasure starts with, first of all,
Okay, I'll bring you back in a minute, Gina. If you got the sound? Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
yeah, it starts with you loving yourself first. If you don't love yourself first before you love others, that's the winning, that's the losing game. You can take all of the jazzercise classes and get your teeth whitened and everything, but if you're still loving people first, then as soon as somebody says, "Oh, your teeth aren't white enough," or "You need to lose some more weight," or "How come you don't have better toned arms?" You're going to feel insecure about that. When you love yourself first, you love you where you're at. In 2010, right before I turned 40, I went in for an emergency hysterectomy, and I died because of complications. If I had this goal of, okay, next spring I'm going to lose weight and I'm going to start living life, what a waste that would have been. Because I didn't know I was going to die that day. I thought I was for something a lot of women get and live on, healthy for the rest of their life. So I'm not getting ready. Where you are right now was good enough. Where you are right now, Crystal, is good. Where you were 3 weeks ago. But it's wonderful that you want to elevate, that we all do
Hold
better.
on 1 second, Parish. Gina, you got some noise in the background. Is that coming from another room? That's why. Do you know how to hit the mute button? Okay, you going in and closing the door because I know you wanted to say something, so I wanted to give you the opportunity. Okay, now it's quiet. Yeah, okay. All right, thank you. I'm so sorry, Paris. Go ahead.
That's okay. I forgot what I was saying.
I'm sorry. Well, Gina, introduce yourself. I know that you posted something on my page about I feel sexy and everything, so I definitely wanted you to be able to participate, to introduce yourself, and please go ahead and give us whatever you would like to contribute to the conversation, please. Miss Gina.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What did you
I
say?
said introduce yourself, and I'm going to give you the opportunity to contribute to the conversation at this time.
Hi, ladies. I'm Gina, and I watch you guys. I've only been watching you guys for like the last 2 weeks, and it's phenomenal. I'm glad that you guys are on here so we can touch different subjects and different topics. It helps people realize that we are not out here alone. It's other people out here that's feeling the same way we're feeling. And you get to hear some of the ways the men think as well, and some of the ways that women think. Now, I came in on the end of the conversation, so I really don't know what was going on. I came in when the young man was leaving out.
Let me ask you, how old are you, Gina?
I'm 55.
Do you feel sexy?
I'm sorry, I'm 54. I'll be 55 in July. I'm claiming it already.
Are you a grandmother? Are you a grandmother?
Yes, I am.
I heard some children. Are you sexy? Are you a sexy grandmother?
I'm a sexy 55, 54.
Okay. Okay. And have you always been that way, or did you just?
Always. I've always made myself feel like I want to feel every day. When I get up in the morning, my sexiness starts when I wake up. Before the song Mary J. Blige sang Good Morning Gorgeous, I've been singing that, I know, since I had my first child in my 20s.
Wow.
Every morning I tell myself like that. Now, just like she say, I'm not talking about getting pretty makeup. I don't wear makeup. I do wear a little lipstick, but it's very rare. So I make myself feel happy and sexy so I can feel happy and sexy. I don't need a man to tell me I'm sexy. I know I'm sexy. I don't need a man to tell me I look good or I look beautiful. I don't need those things. I have that inside of me already. When I feel like I'm not sexy, look in the mirror and I'm sexy. Some of the stuff that has the elasticity has left, I still feel sexy. When I say elasticity, My tatas don't sit up like 20-year-olds anymore.
Okay.
But I'm still
You could do some exercise for that. You could do some exercise.
Right, we could bring
Let them
those back.
hang. What you trying to exercise for? They are not meant to be that way. Let them go.
I'm saying if
Like,
she wants,
let them be free.
she wants them to come. I'm saying if that's what
Let
she
them
wants.
be free.
Yeah.
I feel sexy like that,
Gotcha.
I feel sexy with my whole body changing.
Gotcha.
When you turn a certain age, things go certain ways and do certain things. I still feel sexy.
Well, you know what,
Natasha,
I didn't say that. I wasn't saying that to make you feel a kind of way. When I started drooping, I didn't like it, so I started like, oh, wait a minute, But it's interesting because everybody's different. You know what I'm saying? Some people like it and some people don't. So I said that because for me, I started taking action. I was like, oh no, I don't want no sagging. I just didn't want to sag, and then I gained weight. When I gained weight, I gained it in my boobs. I was like, where this come from?
But this is my question: why don't you want them to sag?
The reason I don't mind them sagging, but I would like to not maybe buy a certain bra to bring them up. When I have on certain things, I want them to look proportioned. Okay. I like the cleavage. I like the cleavage look, like the young lady here is wearing. I love that look. Love it. And it's certain things that you have.
There's no bra required, and I got triple D's. I let them hang.
Oh.
They're long and strong, sis.
Yeah, I mean, I like the cleavage look, the full look. And I'm not doing it for any attention. I just like how it looks on me and how it looks in that certain outfit or certain thing that I may have on. But I don't mind them hanging now. They will. They hanging right now.
Yeah.
So, I don't mind. But I do feel sexy. And I like to feel sexy. I don't need no one to tell me I'm sexy. I'm still sexually active. I think sex is better as you age.
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
Because you learn different things. You get to do different things. I just think sex at an older age is much better than a younger age. I do. I have more fun having sex at an older age than I did younger.
Got more creative. The creativity.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Because there's not so much, you don't have to like perform so much when you're older. And I know I'm younger than everybody here, but I have an old soul. I'm not really, I have an old soul. So I understand what you mean by that. Because I don't want to stand on my head and do all hanging off the bed and all that. I just be...
I tried.
I don't want to do all that. But
been there, done that.
One of the things that I appreciate from this conversation is everybody is kind of accepted whatever era that they're in. Because I was having a conversation with this woman, and as I say, people have a habit of saying, "Oh, when I was your age, I was slim like you. When I was your age, in my era, you couldn't have been in my era." And I'm just looking like, whatever age you are, that's your era. Like, you slay any era that you're in. It doesn't go away because you're not 30 anymore, because you're not 25 anymore. Whatever era you're in, that's your era.
That's your era.
Yeah.
Like, I agree 100%.
We're not in competition because of age, or I just wish I can do this on a regular basis with people who I know, because I need the information that you're giving me so that I too can be like that when I get to your age, by God's grace. It's not a competition. You should be giving me what you have so I can, age gracefully, just like you. Like, there is no competition here. And I think if we understood that more, we would get along more, because it's really a competition out here. And I'm just like, for what though? What are we competing for?
But can I ask?
I
want to ask the question.
I think the competition.
Hold that thought one moment, Gina. Hold that thought one moment. Paris. I have to tell you something. When I first saw you out here, because you're so open with your sexiness and everything, I was like, woo, wait. She off the chain. I was like, well, but then, after a while, I was like, okay.
I love it.
Shoot, man. You know, you gave energy. I have to tell you, you gave us women some energy. You know, now
Yeah,
everybody might not understand the depth of, you know, who you are, but in regards to us wanting to look at ourselves again, you know, and be like, you know what, let me fix myself up. I think that I can speak to some people. You reminded us that we can be sexy. So I want to say thank you
that's
for that.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes when we sit in
That's
the house
right.
and we are alone in the pandemic, we forgot because we were sitting in the house being told don't go outside, you know, and we didn't have to go to work and we didn't have to go to office. We were working from home, some of us. So I just want to say thank you for that because that energy came through the airwaves.
Well, I really appreciate you giving me an opportunity to join the conversation today. I was leaving you a message because I didn't want to interrupt anyone, but I only scheduled an hour because I thought it was, you know, an hour interview, but I do have to leave at 9, and there's so much
Okay.
I want to sisters. If this is an alternate page, only for me to go live, I'm on timeout on Instagram. You can still follow.
Oh, okay.
You can follow Sexy Spirit TV. I just can't go live from there. And if you have any questions or you want to look through my content and you see things that you agree with, don't agree with, I always ask sisters, DM me first. Give me an opportunity to ask me a question and understand why I'm posting what I'm doing. Not so I can convince you, but just so you understand
Right.
there's all different types of African American sisters out there that express their sexuality differently. And that's not something that we have given ourselves permission to do for as long as other ethnic groups. So I find that it's not the natural inclination for a sister to celebrate me. At first, she has to go through these stages of judgment, then toleration, then from toleration, if somebody she admires says something positive, then and then all of a sudden it's okay. But you're missing out on so much more within yourself because usually if whatever you see in somebody else, you see it in yourself. So the things you don't like,
That's true.
some sister, that's something that needs attention. And you, maybe it's not the boobs or whatever, it's just something that's not right. Whatever feeling that is that you feel when you don't like something about somebody else doing something that doesn't affect you at all, let that feeling go, and then you can look at that with no judgment. Whatever you like and you go, oh, I wish I could be that. Stop saying that. You already are that. I'm a mirror just reflecting to you to give you permission. Dance how you feel, sis. I celebrate you. I'm not doing this. I'm not dressing like this or going on social media to inspire everybody else. I'm just doing what Spirit told me to do. Share, live. And I thought, oh boy, everybody's going to think I'm a floozy or think whatever. But I didn't know I was going to turn into a public speaker or any of those things. I just started doing what Spirit told me to do. So I think I'm a testimony to being a real woman. I'm not trying to do anything. I'm not trying to save the world. I'm not trying to fix anybody. I'm not trying to teach anything. If you want to learn, you can come to me privately. But when I'm sharing on social media, I'm just sharing what really works for me. I'm judged every day. I'm rejected every day. There's a lot of bad things I go through every day, but you still see me smiling and coming back for more. If I can do this publicly as an older woman, then whatever little expression you want to have in the bedroom, take your t-shirt off, turn the lights on, spread your legs and show him where to go instead of laying there and acting like you like it so you can go on the phone after he leaves and tell your girlfriend he ain't any good. You know, like I'm here to live your sexual truth, whatever that is. And all of you sisters, I'm so sorry. I don't want to leave, but I only scheduled an hour. But I can come back at another time, or you can welcome to come to my platform when I get off of timeout.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It was nice meeting you.
You too. Same to you guys.
We can't hear you, Crystal. Well, I can't hear you.
What did you say, Crystal?
I can't hear you, Crystal.
Did I hit the button? Hold on.
What?
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, I hear you now.
You hear me now? Okay, I just want to say thank you so much, Sexy. We appreciate your time, and we'll be in contact. Thank you for inspiring us, and because we need that. You know, sometimes we need that.
Yes.
So we appreciate you. We are telling you that we appreciate you. You know, so keep doing what you're doing. Keep doing what you're doing.
Bye,
You
everyone.
know. Yes, have a good one.
Okay.
All right, now I just want to read what Sippin' T wrote. She said, since my 20s, I learned to love and appreciate my sexiness. I have always been referred to as a sexy by the opposite sex, but it wasn't until I owned it and accepted it that I felt I was in control. And that's what it's all about. I think that's what Sexy's talking about. That was Parish was talking about to us. You know, we as women, sometimes we have our inhibitions, you know, we don't feel like, you know, we can be our true self. You know, we cover up in front of our children and we do certain things and we don't feel like we could just let loose, you know, because we think somebody's going to judge us. So I think it's important. And thank you, Miss Pat. I welcome you back. I know you wanted to say something. I wanted to rotate it a little bit. So thank you so much for wanting to come
Okay.
back. You wanted to say something else to us?
Oh, well, I guess I'll go and direct it to Paris. I did want to ask her another question because when I had mentioned about me separating right before the pandemic and you know being shut down and how did I survive? And the first thing she asked me was, "Do I masturbate?" And you know, I wanted to, you know, I had already expressed how I started focusing on myself and started liking myself better and losing weight and exercising. But I also, you know, when we talk about, you know, doing your boob, doing different things to improve your body for yourself. And then I was thinking, you know, again, I'm at a point now where I'm ready to go out and mingle and, you know, I'm single. And I have to also think about, realize that men are visual
Yes,
creatures.
yes, yes.
And even though I like the way I look, you know, and I walk past a mirror and I'm like, oh, you know, this behind can be lifted up a little bit, you know, so I can get that attention. You know, I like the way it looks, but you know, I start doing my exercises to build that up.
Yes,
So in
yes.
addition to me doing things to make me feel sexual and feeling good about myself, I also want to, you know, make sure that that is reflective on other people who see me. Because I don't want them to look at me and think, well, okay, she's unapproachable, you know.
Well,
Because a
that
lot of times you can have that sternness or focus, be so focused on one thing that you forget uh, what other goals or other things are out there that are available to you.
well, let me help you, Pat. You know, don't worry about what nobody else think. Like, do what you do for you. Like, you only here one
And
time.
I
You get
don't.
one life to live. And at this point, we got this far. We survived the pandemic. We survived. We still here. Live your life and be happy, girl. I'm telling you. Now, hold on. I want to talk to this young lady because you said you was crying. So I said, I need to get her up here. She said
Not in
she's
the
crying.
bad.
I
I
need
was
to find
crying.
out.
I was crying laughing when y'all was talking
Okay.
about the boob. No, I wasn't crying. I was crying
Talk,
laughing.
when we was talking about what?
When y'all was talking about the boobs hanging and stuff, I was like, I'm crying over here.
You don't like your boobs hanging either? Introduce
You know
yourself
what?
and tell us where you
I
coming
like
in
them to
from.
do whatever they doing because I'm glad to be alive. So whatever they doing at age
Glad to have you.
54, that's fine. I've just come to fully accept myself as is. I used to struggle with that and body dysmorphia and trying to fit what other people just from family thought I should be because I was never a skinny girl. I'm like 5'8", and I've been a platinum plus now. But now I'm just healthier now, and I'm just working on myself, and I accept myself as is, and it's like the beauty is on the inside and the outside, and I'm just comfortable with who I am. And if anybody else is not, then it's not my problem. That's their problem. That's just where I'm at in my life now.
Yes, yes, that is
You
so
know,
true. Tell us your name. Tell us your name. Where are
my
you
name is
calling us from?
Joy. My name is Joy, and I live in Cincinnati. And
Okay.
I'm a retired hairstylist, so of 30 years, and I'm now a life coach. I just got my certification, so I'm working on that. I'm just in a new phase of my life. Actually, just had to, you know, do something different. Had to give up the hair just due to ailments and wear and tear. But I spent all those years helping ladies accept themselves, and it wasn't me just doing their hair. It's building self-esteem, letting them take ownership of who they are. Just be comfortable in your own skin. But I
Mhm.
did a lot of church ladies, so they had a lot of stigma about like, oh, I shouldn't do this or
Oh,
do
come
that,
on now.
you
Come
know.
on.
And you know,
Yes.
you got a husband at home, and your husband either you're gonna do it or your husband will be on the internet getting it somewhere else. So I
Yeah.
just teach them to be comfortable, learn how to write sexy texts, you know, fix your husband lunch, you know, do things kind of some of the old fashioned ways because that's what worked, you know. And they have good husbands, and I think you can't get too comfortable because you've been married for years, you know. Because
Yes. Yes.
otherwise, yeah, just because you've been married for years and you feel he's locked in, you know, you still have to be with each other once, you know, and men are very, you know, they're voyeurs more. They're more eye appeal. It's good for them. So keep yourself looking nice. You know, keep yourself up, feel sexy, be sexy, and say that you are sexy. You know, it's not about I feel sexy, I am sexy.
So there you go. So say those words, right?
Yeah,
say,
you just have to name it and claim it. I am sexy. I don't care if I'm a size 92 or a size 2. I am sexy. So just when you start saying it, you'll become that, you know?
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Sometimes our children don't want to see us be sexy, though. You know, there's some times that I know it's funny. I have done some things, and sometimes my children be like, "No, mom." You know, as we age, sometimes our children don't want to see, or grandmother, they don't want to see us age. They don't want to see that side, you know. But they gotta understand we're human too.
Yes.
Like, and that's what keeps us alive. Like, you want me to be here, right? Let me live. Let me be me.
You have to live your life. I have a 23-year-old son, and he's my only child. So you can imagine what that was like, because he's very protective of me. But you know, when I was younger, I just made sure, you know, he was my focus. I always kept myself together. But he's 23, and our relationship is different now. And I've gotten him where he needs to go. Now mom is back. She pressed the pause button. Now I'm back to me. And I don't have to explain my life and what I'm doing to you. You know, I'm not going to bring anyone around you that's inappropriate. You know, and when he was little, I didn't just bring someone around him. He didn't see me coming in and out. I got a divorce, and it was just, I left it like that, you know. But he's 23, and now mama's getting back to her life. This is my second half, you know, my second act.
I need to bring you up here sipping. She said, that's why I walk around the house in the nude. Because if I don't love and appreciate my body, who cares? She said, I walk around the house nude.
Yeah, I don't care if you want. If you may want to come home and you in the kitchen cooking with just an apron on and nothing else. That's okay. Some real lipstick. I do all of that because I celebrate myself. I don't need someone to do that. But if I have someone that wants to do that, which I do now, then that's fine. You can help me love me, but I already love me. You know, you're gonna love yourself already. And if somebody wants to get on the bandwagon and help love you and help add to who you are, you're gonna be whole and complete before you even really get in a relationship. And that way someone can add to your wholeness.
Natasha, let me bring you right back real quick, honey. Let me bring you back, Natasha. Let me get this. Sipping tea. I want you up here.
It is so true.
Is that right? A lot of stuff. I feel that you should just
become
everything that you want to do for you. It's not about anyone else's approval or I've never really cared about what somebody think about me. Like, oh, she thinks she's this and that. Well, I'm a whole lot of things. You can think what you want to think I am, but I already know who I am. It takes a lot of time to get to know who you are, and that comes with spending time by yourself, not being too busy for your own life to get to know who you are. I take a lot of time even now to make sure, you know, because things change, and I'm like, what I used to like a couple years ago, now I like something different, or you know, and so it's constantly evolving, and you're developing, and you're evolving, coming into the woman you want to be. So take the time and just get to know yourself, enjoy your own company, whether you have a man or not in your life, and just be in love with yourself in a good way, not in an egotistical way, but be in love with yourself.
And that's a good feeling.
Yeah.
And that's a good feeling.
We're something special. Own it.
I wanted to bring Elizabeth up. Hey, Elizabeth, I heard you say this is a good subject. Elizabeth is the queen on the rolling throne. She is in a wheelchair.
She's
Elizabeth
beautiful.
let me tell you something.
Thank you.
She said most of her men are not in wheelchairs. And she gets them all. And
they don't care.
She's sexy. She knows she's sexy.
If they love you,
exactly. If I don't know it, who's gonna know it?
You have to.
Hey, I look at it this way. You love it. Loving me is enough. Yours is extra.
That's how I feel. That's why I said, if you want to get on the bandwagon and do that. But I love who I am. I love my heart. I love my heart towards people. I love that I really love people for real, sincerely. There's so many other things that I love about myself on the inside, because you got to work on that, because this outside is going to change.
Yes.
So if you're just relying on your outside, you know, you're not going to grow older gracefully. So what else you got after your face looks different? And your eyes.
And I noticed that when you get to that point of loving yourself and not worried about what other people may think or what other people may say, then good things start happening around you.
It really does.
You know, and I've experienced that. You know, because I used to always be concerned about what people will say. You know, if I did this or did that, and when I stepped out on faith, and I decided to go ahead and do this for me.
Yeah.
and they feel good about it and
Yeah.
get up every morning and look in the mirror and like what I see, that's when good things start
Yeah.
happening.
My main concern
Yes.
is pleasing. My first concern is pleasing God and being pleasing in His eyes,
That's
and that
it.
the next one is
That's
me.
it.
Come
That's
Pleasing
on
it.
now.
myself. After that, everybody else can come in line when they
That's
want to.
it.
But those are
So
two, me and God. That's all really I care to
That's it.
meet their
I'm
approval.
I'm so glad you said that because a lot of people sometimes over spiritualize things.
Yeah.
And like you said, those spiritual wives, they missing out because
They're being too
there's a
uptight
whole
sometimes.
chapter in the Bible called Songs of Solomon, and
Oh yeah.
if you ain't never read that chapter and you married or you got a significant other, you need to go to that
Talk
chapter
about
because
love.
that
Talk about
chapter is
love.
Yeah,
something,
but
honey.
it's
It is
called, when you're
yeah.
with someone and you're married to them, it's become, your bedroom or whatever your habits are there is undefiled. You don't have to explain that to
That's
anyone. You
right.
do
That's right.
whatever it takes for. If you want Barry White
That's right.
on tonight, or if you want to put Luther on, whatever you want to do it's okay
That's right.
because you're doing it under the eyes of God. You
That's
are
right.
in that unity.
Exactly.
So it's like
Yeah.
you just got to get comfortable and just really become knowing who you are. And just knowing what you possess, knowing what your own strengths are, your attributes, and nobody else has to agree with you. As long as you find that in yourself, that's really all that matters.
That's the
You have to
truth.
get to that point
Yes.
Now, Elizabeth,
of
did you want to share some?
self-acceptance.
You want to share some nuggets? What has gotten you through?
Sure. I mean, because of my disability, at one point I was kind of like, I didn't feel sexy, and I felt kind of like, like I really didn't want to, be around people and stuff like that. But then I started changing, and I'm like, you know what? I started building up my confidence because I used to see models and stuff like that, and I wanted to model, I wanted to act, but I knew that, I couldn't be shy and couldn't be feeling like that if I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
be in that type of environment in that, that entertainment field.
Mm-hmm.
So I started feeling more positive about myself. And to me, like some people might think that, I'm being conceited or something like that.
No.
But you know what? I used to let that bother me. Now I don't. You know what? I don't even care. Just like if you go on my pages, you see a lot of pictures of me, and people be hating on it because I know I be getting like sly little remarks. And you know what? The more you say stuff like that, the more I post them on it because you know what? I know I'm beautiful. I don't even care. Call me
It doesn't
conceited, call
matter.
me whatever you want because it's me. This is me. The way I feel about myself, and I
Mm-hmm.
feel that I portray that positiveness out because when I know that I have been out in the public and people have approached me. They're like, they come up to me like, "Oh my God, you are so beautiful."
You are.
But I don't think, I don't take it as only a physical. I believe that they're talking about an internal too, because when I'm out in public, that's just me. I'm that type of person. I'm not, I get along with anybody. I would help anybody and stuff like that. And that's the type of person that I am. So I believe that people pick up on that,
Mm-hmm.
on that feeling.
Yep.
Because I don't, like I said, I don't take it to, I don't let it go to my head that when somebody's like, "Oh, you're beautiful," I don't automatically assume, "Oh, wow, they think that I'm pretty." No, I think it's the whole package
It's everything, the
that they
whole
see.
person.
Because I
I
think I
think.
radiate how I feel. It comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes, you
It's a
do.
light. Everybody has an inner light. If they move all the dirt and grime and
Exactly.
other stuff, and then your light will shine. But don't get mad because mine shines. Because I work on that. And it's all about just everybody should just find one thing about themselves. Start with one thing first that you like, and then expound on that. If you like your eyes, then make those pretty and use them. If you like your smile at people.
Right.
That's what's beautiful. It's not dressing in a sexy way. Anybody can dress sexy, but are you sexy? That comes from within. Either you are or
Right.
you're not.
Exactly. Exactly.
And being kind and being nice is the sexiest thing of all because you're going to be expounding, bringing out a positive energy, and that always attracts positive energy back.
Yes. Yes.
And not being
Exactly.
jealous and hateful of other women. We are all beautiful flowers. There's
Exactly.
carnations,
And
calla lilies, roses. They're all beautiful. They don't compete with each other. They're just all beautiful on their
right.
own. So we have to still be
Exactly.
like that as women and not being so
Yes,
hateful
that's
towards
true.
other people, whether they're size 2 or if they're 5'1" or 4, whatever. Just embrace who you are as you are and do the best with what you can.
Now, let me say this before I forget. Sipping Tea with D is in this room. If you
Mm-hmm.
see that, Sipping Tea with D, follow Sipping Tea with D. She does a great podcast also for ladies She does something very positive for ladies, y'all. Because I'm going to get ready to bring this to a close. So I'm going to clear
Okay.
some of you down so I can go ahead and
Okay,
Well,
thank
thank
you,
you for
Crystal.
inviting
but
me.
I thank you so much. But I definitely want to say that I appreciate you ladies taking part in this. You know, I appreciate Parish coming and helping us to talk about this conversation, you know, because we need to talk about these things sometime. And
Yes.
it's most definitely necessary to be able to do this. I want to remind you guys of a few things that you might not have thought about. I want to remind you guys to make sure you know your love language. Make sure you know what your love language is. You know, but love yourself first. But if you're starting to want to be in a relationship, just make sure you know your love language, okay? And if you want to know about tips to find intimacy, you know, here's a couple of things. If you don't have intimacy in a relationship, make sure you're saying I love you. You know, make sure you assume the best and not the worst. Sometimes when we have a relationship, we don't always assume the best. We want to make sure we do that. All right, celebrate the small and the big things in the relationship with the individual, and even with yourself. Celebrate you and the big and the small things about yourself, like the young lady just said, you know, and always access the positive and be creative. And here's a big one, guys. Let go of the past. You've had some disappointments, some things that happened. Somebody that left you, you left somebody. Let that go. Let that go. Start today and decide what you want for your life and just be happy, man, because you're still here. You're still here. So I want to thank you guys for coming through. What we got Sunday, I just want to let you know, if you're not following me, please follow me. Follow everybody who came in this room. This Sunday, I have a young lady coming. It's going to be a flip of the topic. This Sunday, I got a hospice representative coming. Hospice. If you know anything about hospice, that is when people are transitioning from life to death, family members are end of life, and people who come in and help families with that process. So that's who we have on Sunday. So that's going to be deep, y'all. That's going to be a deep conversation, but it's a much needed conversation. On Wednesday, we got Rodney Perry, and I'm sure that's going to be interesting, especially after this incident that just happened with Dave Chappelle, like y'all saw that happen, another slap, another punch, another altercation, you know. But I just want you to know, if you have a story, let me know. Inbox me, because you can tell your story. That's what this platform is for. My name is Crystal Bodie Smith, and my calling on my life is to give you the opportunity to share your story, to give you the opportunity. And happy Mother's Day to all. Yes, thank you so much for saying that, Miss Natalie. Happy Mother's Day. To everybody that came through here, thank you so much for the support. Share this live. Miss Me So Blessed. We got to get you on so we can talk about the voting. That young lady, we're going to talk about how we need to position ourselves with our vote, how we need to make sure we are prepared to let our voices be heard. So we have some great things. I got Purpose and Resilience in the room. My goodness, she does some amazing things to help people to be on their purpose. Shout out to Real Dre, talking about is everybody single? He's a single man in there, y'all. Real Dre. So hit him up. He got that reggae thing going on too. I saw B Manuel in the building too. B Manuel, we want to hear your story as well. Everybody in here, we appreciate all of you. All right. I did not find my reading glasses, so I'm sitting here squinching. Y'all see me squinching? But listen, we're going to get out of here. We don't keep you too long. I thank you. Let's continue to motivate each other. Let's be positive, y'all. Let's be positive, y'all. We got enough negativity going on in the world. So I say accent the positive and relent the negative. Make sure you tell somebody you love them. And if nobody has told you that, then I love you for today, okay? So I want to thank all of you for participating. My name is Crystal Bodie Smith. My mission is to stir up the gift, instill hope, and save lives, all right? By spreading hope, by spreading joy, by providing information, by letting people come on the platform and tell their stories and share. And also on the 18th, I have a holistic doctor coming back. She's going to help you with any type of illnesses you have. If you have inflammation, if you have gout, if you have lupus, if you have cancer, if you have diabetes, whatever you have, she's got a cure for it. So you want to make sure you come back for that too. We got so many people. I can't even, man, Teddy Carpenter coming soon. I mean, we got a lot of people coming, y'all. So stand by. Thank you, guys. I love you. Have a great evening, and I really appreciate you coming by here tonight. Share this video and let somebody know that you were here tonight on Story Time, all right? And be blessed. Thank you. Good night. Wait. Somebody wants to say something. Okay. No, we're not doing that.